It's just like free points because you have so much defense on the tower, and it's basically just like which team can make that push first, and then they just hold the defense. So we're gonna see that. But here we go. We're starting up game one, Rising Moon and Legacy. This is Humpback Pump Track, Tower Control. Let's get into it.
Yeah, Binks is definitely a player I want to spotlight for Rising Moon, running a very interesting build of quick respawn and comeback, and they're running the Splatbrella. At the onset of Splatoon 2, they were playing a lot of sloshers, and have now shifted over to a variety of different weapons here, the Brella being one of the most meta weapons right now, having the extra added advantage of almost having a shield that you can pop up and resist enemy fire. So again, it does 90 damage maximum, so you can do a ton of damage with that weapon, and also it has the Inkstorm. It's basically a farm for it with the Sprinkler being at sub. You can lay down a bunch of those in one game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The Brella has definitely seen a lot of play recently, and I'd like to attribute that to a few things, but for the most part, it's just a really good weapon. And, as you know, these competitive players are really good at picking out those good weapons so they can play them. That kind of goes without saying. The Brella is definitely very, very strong. I think it's going to probably be staying in the meta for a while unless it can unless it gets, like, nerfed in some way, which I don't think it will, because it's a very strong weapon right now, but it's not, like, overpowered at all. I think it's just strong because it's different for the most part.
It's not, we're seeing 2 or 3 on one team, like the Tri-Slosher of yore. It's a very good weapon in the right situation, but we saw Legacy push all the way up just past the halfway mark to 49, so carving out a niche for themselves there, but now it's Rising Moon's turn. Bink's going to be the one designated to be on the tower. Gray trying to shark out a little bit again, using that roller, which has seen an uptick in popularity recently. Both teams actually running a roller. It just has such an interesting and fun kit. The curling bomb can get you into situations and places that you have no business being in. They are usually covered in enemy ink, but somehow you can make your way in there and get that devastating one-shot kill.
Right. The reason teams are running rollers right now is because it's very, very fast and it kills very quickly. It works really, really well with momentum. It's very, very similar to the custom range blaster from Splatoon 1. It's basically like if you have this weapon and you can find one kick, you have a bunch of maps to work with. Like there's one less player on the enemy team to actually paint the map. And because it works so well with turf control, you kind of just start running around, you find the next one, and they're white. It's that simple. It's just so fast at actually finding picks and slaying that when it works so well. But the issue with that is that if you're getting locked out, if you can't hold map control, the roller is pretty much next to useless. So it's kind of a gamble in that sense. If you think you're going to be able to hold at least some form of map control, it's definitely a very good pick. But most teams will not pick it against the team that they're struggling with.
Exactly. It's essentially your push starter, as it were. You can, especially at the start of a game, get to the enemy very, very quickly and try to come away with a kill. Even if it's a trade, you're likely going to be able to come back from spawn with that weapon a lot quicker because of the curling bomb than your opponent. So it gives you a pretty good advantage there. Speaking of advantages, we see the tower is being ridden by Legacy for now. About 2 minutes and 10 seconds left. And we see one Cebu is going to be back in over by the tower here, just behind it actually, and somehow able to stay alive, surviving that splashdown, and now a 3-down situation for Legacy. So Rising Moon has a good chance to defend their lead here, which is not insurmountable by any means. 45, not bad, but also on this map, you definitely want to make it over that ridge and get close to the tower final point.
And here we go. This is exactly what I said. Once you get the tower up to this wall here, it's kind of like safe to keep going. Like you don't really need to worry about too much. Of course, the Stingray is going to be able to stop that because Stingray is Stingray. And that's actually what's going to stop this push, but it looks like Team Rising Moon did get it up to about 31 points there, and they took an almost team wipe because of it, but I think they're a little bit comfortable. There's a minute and a half left in the game. 31's not the best lead you could ask for in this map, but I think it's good enough for them to play defense with like, a minute and a half left in the game. So we're going to be seeing them play the defense, and it's up to Legacy right now to take back the lead.
Yeah, Hype trying to just kind of shark around, wait for any of those members that are coming back from spawn here. Of course, like you said, they had to expend a lot of resources to make that push, get all the way up to 31. Nice kill there by Hype, looking to see if anybody jumps down off of that lift, but they forced a 3-down situation, so there's only really Binks left, but Binks is going to come away with a pretty good kill there and try to defend that tower, but a nice snipe there by Mika is going to give them the lead with just 45 seconds left, so a fantastic job in the last minute here by Legacy to make sure that they have a good chance to get away in this game as a success. 3 down, again, having to expend all those resources, but when you get the lead like that, you can use as many members as you want. You can just come back from spawn and try and defend the tower in those last 30 seconds.
Yeah, definitely. And at Rising Moon right now, they're doing just such a good job. It's kind of interesting. They're not really playing defense. They're just playing like a very defensive offense. Like, they're kind of just sharking around. They're finding picks. They're not like holding a defensive line that's hard to get through. What they're doing is they're playing up. They're trying to find these picks, and they're going to keep the tower pushing. Like, they're not happy with a 31-point lead. They want to keep going. And, you know, of course, they didn't actually get more than 31 points. Actually, they might now if these jumps come in clutch.
But the splash zone coming in, that's going to get multiple targets. A bloodbath on the tower as bodies are falling left and right. Okay. And that's the lead. A full wipe forced by Rising Moon onto Legacy. They say, we'll take that lead back. Thank you very much. And a very back and forth game here on Humpback Pump Track is going to result in a Rising Moon victory.
I must have missed something there. When did Legacy take back the lead?
Legacy made a push all the way up to that choke point within, you know, between the minute to 45-second mark. They got the lead back, and then Rising Moon went all the way back, got stopped briefly at 31 again, and then multiple splashdowns came down on the tower. A full wipe was caused by Rising Moon onto Legacy, and with nobody to contest the tower, they were able to easily grab the lead.
Okay, I must have been watching a different game because I completely missed that. I did not see them take the lead at the end there. But no, Rising Moon was able actually to take it back in overtime. So that's some very, very good play. You know, when you're in overtime, the pressure's on. And being able to play well under that pressure and make good decisions is definitely an attribute of a good player and a good team. So fantastic job to them. We're going to be moving into game 2 now. Splat Zone's Snapper Canal. This is a fun one. Snapper Canal is the newest map to Splatoon. Not the newest one in Splatoon 2, but the newest Splatoon map, if that makes sense. This map is very interesting. It's very, 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 very big. And because of that, it's I should reiterate, it's very big, but there's no like unimportant areas. There's so many areas in this map that are all very, very important. And because of that, pretty much every single weapon is good here. Short range, long range, mid range, rollers, like even Dynamo is really good on this map because there's a lot of high ground for it to ink onto, especially in splat zones. And so the team comps that can come out on this map and mode are very interesting. And I hope we're going to see some of those weird picks coming up from one of these teams, because that's what I like to see, is those meta-defying picks.
Yeah, when describing this map, I like to use the word concave because you start out at the very top height of the map, and then you sort of go downward, and then the bottom part where the water is actually the lowest elevated point. Yeah. But it's almost like they took portions of other maps, like other styles of different maps, and put them onto this map. There's ramps, there's flat places, there's just random spots where there's only 1 or 2 obstacles to stop incoming fire. There's literally something for everybody on this map, which is why it lends to your point of, you know, pretty much any weapon type can excel here. Is this Rapid Blaster is just putting in the work.
Yeah, no, that was really good. Shot finding 2 picks there on the side. Not kind of the entrance that you're expecting with a Rapid Blaster, but it's definitely a good one, so they'll take that. Unfortunately, they didn't get the zone out of that. There was 2 picks, and they couldn't find the paint on the zone, although they do find it now. Rising Moon is going to be playing on the back foot here. They're going to push back in, but all these specials are flying in their face. Let's see how they handle this.
Yeah, both teams bringing in a Rapid Blaster, which doesn't surprise me at all. First of all, it's splat zones, and the fact that it has that splat bomb launcher is going to be so nice for maintaining control of that zone, which we're seeing Chill pop now. The other thing is that with all the obstacles on this map, you can just fire shots around basically from relative safety and get those indirects off. I believe it's 3 or so indirects to kill, so you can essentially just pick people off by tap-shotting them to death without them being able to retaliate.
Right, and the thing about the Rapid Blaster on this map is, especially on Splat Zone, actually specifically on Splat Zones, is that you can see like, exactly what Chill's doing right now. When you sit in the middle, even on the zone, you know, like a lot of Splatoon players say, as soon as you get that zone, get off of it, because if you die, that's like really bad. But the thing about this map with the Rapid Blaster is that being on the zone, you have pretty much the perfect spacing on every single entrance that the opposing team has. So you can kind of just sit in the middle, and they can't really approach you unless they use something like an Ink Storm, which is what we've seen them do twice now. So fantastic job by Oh wow, they actually went 4 down. That's going to be game. But fantastic job by Rising Moon using their specials to actually deal with Chill, who's sitting up there with the Rapid Blaster. That's the right call to make. Unfortunately, the team fights didn't go too well for them, and now Legacy is going to take that one. And we're going into a game 3.
What an unexpected game. It was so much more one-sided than we saw in game 1. I was like, okay, this one has the potential to go to that final game, but I did not think game 2 would be nearly as one-sided as it was. Mika coming away with that heavy splatling, the hero version of it, with a 9 KA, holding the members of Rising Moon to no more than 2 per person. So a wonderful performance by them there, really making use of all the range that they brought with their weapons and all of the different boxes and setups on a map like Snapper Canal. And there's a couple of tarped off areas on that map too, so just having a weapon where you can walk around and never have to dip into the into your own ink too often is such a nice boon. But as you mentioned, we move on now to game number 3. It will be Rainmaker on Starfish main stage. I see a couple of different strategies on this map. Most people like to go over to that left-hand side wall, wait for the all clear from their teammates, and then push that Rainmaker up, see if they can make the jump to victory onto that pedestal. But you can also take it either to the far right-hand side, which is very, very risky, or just up the ramp in the lower middle part of the map. But of course, from the enemy spawn, you have a clear sight to the Rainmaker. So if they have a sniper or something long range, you have to be very, very careful when pushing it that way.
Yeah, this map is very, very interesting. It's one of those maps to where if you can get an early pop, you can just kind of run the Rainmaker. Like, you just take one person, you say, I'm going to go. So they just grab it, and they just shoot the Rainmaker once, and then they just move towards the pedestal, and there's a lot of cover that the enemy team has to work around. So they can kind of just run it. And if you can get that like early 30 points on the board, which is actually a lot easier said than done, it just takes about one shot of the Rainmaker. It gives you a lot of really good early footing to play on the map. Just kind of be on like the early defense. You know, you're not going to be on total defense there. You're still going to be looking for an opportunity to push. But it's actually a strategy that I've seen a lot of teams go with on this map, where if you have, you know, 2 players down the enemy team, it's not really good for an all-out push. Someone can just grab the Rainmaker and just go, and it actually gives you a lot of points on the board. So that's really cool. I'd love to see some of that come out.
And these two teams, with the weapons they've been bringing in, kind of juxtapose what I've been seeing from different teams, which is they will go hyper-aggression, mostly short-range weapons, maybe 3 short-range weapons like a splatter shot, a 10 attack, and an end zap, and then maybe something mid to long range. But these players are going, you know, relatively mid-range as a whole here. We're seeing things like the Rapid Blaster, we're seeing the Splat Roller, which has that vertical flick, and then the Sloshing Machine, which is really great at all extremes with that Stingray, and then of course the main weapon being able to be very good at short and mid-range play.
So Gray is taking some burst bomb pressure here, but this is exactly what I'm talking about. They don't even have this huge lead, but if Gray wanted to right now, he could just go and get a lot of points on the board. It looks like he is going to get stopped here. Maybe he's still alive somehow, finally dying to the Rapid Blaster of Shasha. So now, that was weird, because Legacy had a very, very good opening play there. They didn't quite win the team fight, but they had map control, and they were in a good spot to actually get that push going, but they didn't take the opportunity. And okay, this is a weird match.
Oh wow, yeah, Cha-Cha pulling up some great kills here, looking for the delayed triple to bind it onto the Rainmaker. So that's some huge plays being made by Cha-Cha. And not only are they having an effect on the kill side of the game, but they're also laying down those flat bombs to try and get some map control back in mid, which they've done in spades here. Bink's going to pick up the Rainmaker without using that Stingray, so they will gain the lead. And it looks like they are going to try and take that left-hand side wall, but they're being very heavily pressured. Again, they might have had time to take a shot at their feet and take out Gray, but there was just not enough time there. A 3-down situation now, and Legacy should have their turn. 71, not insurmountable by any means.
This is such a weird game, because we've seen both teams have map control. They've won the team fight, but they haven't really gotten a push going. And then the other team, you know, they might be down 2 players, but that one last player, the 1 or 2 last players are able to like completely halt the push of the enemy team. So this is a very weird start to this game. It's throwing off my commentary. And I don't really know what's happening right now. Both teams are in very, very good positions to push, you know, at some point. Right now, it looks like Rising Moon actually has that position, and we're gonna see if they actually do the kind of pushes that they, or the positions they were in before were very, very good, but we didn't really see much come out. And now, okay, Binks has got the Rainmaker. They got the specials coming out. 1 player's on the respawn. They got to find these picks. But no, it's just like a neutral game. They have the Rainmaker. They're in a good spot to go, but it's just neutral. So I don't really know what's going on here.
Yeah, the Rainmaker really having trouble getting out of mid here. So far for me, the MVPs of these games have really been the Rapid Blasters. Cha-Cha and Chill have been able to lock down each of their opponents so well, getting the picks when they need them, and also having the Splat Bomb launcher to get that map control back. But the Rainmaker having a bit of trouble leaving mid here. Binks is going to try, but Hype is on top of that high ground, looking to see if they can pick him off. 2 down for both teams, actually, but at least the Rainmaker will fall, which is great for Legacies. They're still behind here, waiting for the right time to use the splash down, which is now. They
How
will
did
get
they
on
even
top
know
of
that Cha-Cha was there? How did they even know Cha-Cha was there?
Even the
'Cause I didn't know
smallest
that.
ripple, I think, just the smallest ripple of ink
Yeah,
can
must have.
belie somebody's positioning. But Hive going to be the one to pick up the Rainmaker here. They have just enough ink to push the Rainmaker forward, but they expend a lot of resources here, a full down situation. And as you mentioned, if you go full down on this map, it could be a quick changeover of the lead for the enemy team.
Right, so they did get the lead there, but it's probably not going to last for too long, as we do see Binks now is going to get the lead with the Rainmaker. And now they're up on this ledge, and this is danger mode, because if they just get like 3 seconds of good map control here, it's pretty much game over. And speaking of that, this might be it. They've got the ink down on the jump. There's a little jump there that you can make to the pedestal. That's 2 players down now. It's completely up to like the Forge, it looks like, in order to defend this. The Rapid Blaster is up. It's completely up to the Rapid Blaster right now. If they can get that Rapid Blaster down, it's going to be game over. But no, they're going to get it to 9 points. And the Rainmaker is going to go down. That's going to be 3 players down now on the side of Rising Moon. So they did expend most of their lives for that push, but they got it down to 9 points, which is a comfortable lead with just over a minute left in the game.
Yeah, that's totally worth it to expend all the lives that you need to get the Rainmaker there. We saw Binks actually go down the ramp instead of trying to make the jump onto the pedestal, which was pretty smart, as I don't think they had enough ink on that surface to get over to the pedestal. So getting down to single digits there on that push, and only under a minute left here, not including a potential overtime for Legacy to try and push forward here. The Stingray, yeah, the Stingray going to deal with that Rainmaker very, very well, and that's everybody down for Legacy. They may not have time, they may barely have time to build up their specials once again, but if Rising Moon continues to be aggressive the way that they have been, there may not be that time after all, and there's still a bunch of map control that they need to get back in mid before push can even be thought about.
Right. When you're in this position, there's 30 seconds left. You don't have the lead. You got to play very carefully. Every decision matters, and mistakes are amplified. You got to make right decisions, and you got to make things happen quick. You don't really have time to hesitate. It's really difficult being in a position like this where you're down this many points. You got to push all the way to 8 points when there's 13 seconds left. They're going to be going for it here. There's 2 down on the side of Rising Moon, and it's going to be difficult. Rainmaker's taking some pressure. They're going to die, and if they don't pop it in time, I don't know if they can pop it in time. That's going to be game over.
Oh yes, Theva getting a nice kill there, but he's being flanked around as a distraction though. That's going to keep Legacy from popping the Rainmaker shield. It looked like they had a decent situation. They were in a 4v2 and had 2 specials even after the Inkjet was popped, but a quick kill on the Rainmaker in the last 10 seconds is going to stop Legacy from having enough time to once again pop that Rainmaker shield. Again, we talked about the Rapid Blasters making an impact. They're both going to be leading their respective teams in terms of a KA, and it's going to be Rising Moon coming away with it after a fantastic match on Starfish main stage.
Absolutely. Rising Moon is now taking the winner's spot in their bracket, so they're going to be getting that bye in tomorrow's bracket in the top 12. There's one less match they have to play, which is really cool for them. Fantastic job to them. They played very well against Legacy. They dropped 1 game, but it was a close game. It was a very, very close game, so good stuff to them. We have Legacy. They might have lost this set, but it's not a bad thing. They're still making it into the next bracket. They're going to be here tomorrow in top 12. We're going to see them too. They don't get that bye, but they're still in the upper side of things. And in this pool, the next